Happy Spiritual Sunday from the Boca Kabbalah Center. And as usual, I just want to read a little bit while we're waiting. Simple Light by Karen Berg. So, as I tend to do, and probably many of you do the same thing, whether it's with the 72 Names of God cards or what have you, you open up the Zohar, you open up one of the books, and you get your perfect message. So, how many of you feel a little stress? Maybe a lot of stress. Yes? You think the world's in stress? Okay, so you ready for this? Here's Karen's answer. Stress means that I don't really believe in the light force of God. Strong statement, but let's take it, open our heart and take it, not as a criticism or for guilt. Let's take it as an awakening so we can understand. Because if we understand, like anything, if you understand the cause of something, then you can transform the cause and you change that thing forever. But if you just try and fix it on the outside, that's basically what we've called reactive behavior. It lasts for 5 minutes and then it goes away. It's like we were talking just a few minutes before we went on live. You know, it's like a delayed timer, right? You scream, you yell, you get instant gratification, and then tick, 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 that timer's going, and suddenly kaboom, it blows up again, right, in the person's face, and there's another challenge. But as we were also talking, it's not the same challenge that we want to seek. In this case, a person reactive, it's the same challenge over and over and over again. Meaning it's like being in third grade, not passing the test, and having to be in third grade again. Whereas for the rest of us, you pass the test, you move up to fourth grade. You have challenges, you make effort, you share more, you pass the test, you go to fifth grade. So in a certain way, like in school, let's make it simple. You have math in kindergarten, you have math in first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, but it's each a different level of math. So you can't say, oh my God, I'm learning in fifth grade the same math I learned in first grade. Unless you're one of our friends sitting here with a blue hat. Then sometimes that happens. But I didn't say your name. But for the rest of us, if you're making a spiritual effort, then you're going from one level to the next. So even though it may seem like fear or jealousy or insecurity or whatever, but if you're growing, it's less and less of it. And you are now in a higher level of consciousness. So Karen goes on, it means that I lack certainty. In other words, a person who has stress doesn't believe in the light of God in that moment, in that way, meaning they don't have certainty. And let's finish what she says. If I were looking at the light instead of the situation in front of me, I would understand that even if I lost my job today, there would be another job that paid double waiting around the corner. So should I be stressed at this moment? No. But as long as I lack certainty, I will feel stress. So, like I often use the example, for me, the Rubik's Cube, right? One of the fundamental teachings we learn here in the center is that everything is already perfect. There's perfect human beings. There's a perfect world of peace and harmony. There's perfect in every way, shape, or form. But you and I came here to reveal that perfection, to uncover it by transforming our jealousy, fear, ego, greed, insecurity, guilt, shame, lack, etc. That's it. That's why we are. So if you think about, like Karen's example, let's use that one. If a person lost their job today, but they could already see in their mind's eye that they were getting that new job, double the pay, double the benefits, etc., and making them double happy in 3 weeks or even 3 months, would they really have stress today? No, because their mind would be, oh, in 3 months, they're going to have this amazing job that's going to fulfill them, pay them, benefit them, all of that. They wouldn't have the stress. Yes, they still have to live those 3 months and deal with issues, but it wouldn't be stressful because they already know what's coming. So you and I are learning to understand everything started perfect. So if you look at the light in the people that you have issue with, because we're all filled with light, if you look at the light in them, you have less stress over what they're saying and doing. And as you and I speak about very often, then because we've opened our heart, the eyes of our heart, and we see the perfect person in there, we can now feel empathy for the soul the piece of our soul, because there's only one soul, that's trapped in that body who's doing that negative thing. We can feel the pain of that. And instead of being stressed out at what they said or did, we can now use the light inside of us, reach into their heart and soul, activate the DNA of the light of the Creator inside them. So we're helping them to feel the necessity and the value of transforming themselves from jealousy to kindness or gratitude, from anger to compassion, from greed to generosity, to ego to humility. You and I are learning here, and we're making a greater effort to do it voluntarily, but we're also being forced, you, me, and the entire world, because of the pressure of the light of the Creator. The pressure of the light is getting stronger because our deadline is coming soon, that we have to finish the purpose for which we came here. So therefore, if people are stressed out, like Karen says, because they're not certain that the light is infinite, the light has a technology they can use. I mean, here with a computer, if something goes wrong with a computer, am I stressed out? Well, maybe in my case, a tiny bit, because I have to now find somebody this early on Sunday to give me the answer. But I know there's somebody who can solve it. So in that way, I'm not stressed out because I know there's a solution, because there's technology to the computer. So as we are learning in the Kabbalah Center, the technology of humanity, the technology of the soul, which is the only common thing in every person on earth, as we're learning the technology, then we know if we made a mistake, we can fix it. Once we diagnose the real cause of it, the real mistake we made. You can look at the world and say, oh my God, there's no chaos, there's just disorder. So then let's work together to put things back in order, because we know everything started out in perfect order. So that begins to take away the stress. And then, as we all know, once there's less stress, we know the health stays better, because stress is a major factor in illness. We know that there's less conflict and fighting and disagreeableness. Doesn't mean suddenly everyone's going to agree with everyone else's opinion. But like we were saying before, there's a difference between fighting over who's right with an opinion and creating all that divisiveness and friction and negativity, or just agreeing to disagree and then go about looking into it. Maybe I don't see the whole picture. Maybe they're saying to themselves they don't see the whole picture. But at least we're in essence working together towards the same goal. If you think about it in simple terms, I don't care which side of any issue, argument, conflict in the world, each side is looking for what the Creator gave us, total and lasting fulfillment. It's just in this world, because we have that challenger in our head, that opponent AI that we put there to make us make an effort to reveal our light. That's the only thing that makes us look for, they have to agree with me right now. We have to be divisive because of that AI. No, don't let them speak that way. Don't let them tell you no, because what they're going to do is going to be the opposite of your fulfillment. And of course, the other side is thinking what you're going to do is the opposite of their perception of fulfillment. So you're just going to keep arguing. Once you raise your consciousness to the light of the Creator, the light of the Creator covers everybody. The light of the Creator has already put perfection in everybody. The light of the Creator has already put the ways and means that all of us can have complete harmony, order, joy, peace, prosperity, love, all the good things. We just have to live into it. That's the only thing missing. There's nothing missing on the outside. It's only missing from the inside out. You project the light of the Creator out on a higher level, your life becomes brighter and more blessed everywhere you go, because you're the emanator of the light. It's not like you leave the light in that situation if you behave nicely, proactively instead of reactively, and then you walk away, nothing goes with you. No, it goes with you because you're allowing more light from your heart and soul to shine out into the world. Then when you walk away from that situation, your light is shining brighter and you see more clearly whatever the next issue, the next place you walk into. And automatically, since like attracts like, you're attracting more blessings. So your life is better that much on a higher level relative to the effort you made to transform. You went from 60 to 70% of your potential. You're now shining 70% of your light. You have 70% of your total blessings, peace, guidance, clarity, instead of 60. So you're more blessed. Then anywhere else in the world that you now go from 70 to 80, you're now shining 80 everywhere you go. Because you're the center of your universe, you're the center of your world, you're the one who's emanating light, or heaven forbid, the opposite. There's nobody else in charge of your life. So covering the world with light, let's say our affirmation together. For those of you online, here it is. We say it out loud, and keeping the consciousness to engrave this idea in our heart and soul, so it stays with us all week and on that new level for the rest of our life. So we say it together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. Okay, so let's start this. Some of you have heard me, if you've been in any of my classes for any while. Natural disasters is one of the most horrendous phrases, in my opinion, because there's no such thing as a natural disaster. It's an unnatural disaster because of, we'll call it for today, stupid nature. I mean, it's stupid nature to cause fires, floods, hurricanes, disasters like that. No? Can't be smart. Smart nature wouldn't have disease, wouldn't have hurricanes and floods and fires and things like that. So now we want to start understanding, how does nature become stupid? Nature doesn't have free will. So what makes nature smart or stupid is the whole focus of today's lesson. So we start again, almost like we were just saying, the creator. You know, one of the things, if you think about it, a great artist, a great artist, truly great artist, really can only create great things. So if you think in those terms, then, if the creator, or we'll call it the emanator of light, is perfect, it can only create perfect things. It can't create anything negative. So you and I are here as mini creators. Let's look at it this way. Maybe it's a little different than we might often talk about it. The Creator gave us a piece of itself, which is the ability of creation. So we're mini creators. So some of you go, yes, yes, yes. You know, I'm not, like you know me, I'm not good at creating art. I can do very nice stick drawings, but I can't do art. So I'm not a creator of art. That's not the Creator we're talking about. To understand, we create every word, thought, and action, because the power of creation is our essence. And therefore, everything we do, in every way we do it, anywhere we do it, with anyone we do it, in any method, we are creating. What the Kabbalah Center is teaching us is how to create in the most positive, effective way, not only for my good, but the beauty of the system is my good, my true fulfillment cannot come unless I'm emanating the light of fulfillment to every human being there is. So everybody wins. It's a win-win situation. But we have to come deeper and deeper and more constantly remembering every word, thought, and action creates. I just had someone told me, she was around a number of people who were sick. And all of a sudden she started speaking about how she hasn't been sick in such a long time. She's been okay. And sure enough, the next day she woke up sick. Because in essence, what was her creation? She was thinking about the sickness more than the health. Let's just put it in simple terms. And so, self-fulfilling prophecy. We've heard that term, and essentially everything that happens to us in a form is self-fulfilling prophecy. The issue is we don't always see how we created it. And yes, and I want to just put this aside for now, if some of you listening have had a really traumatic experience, pause, don't think of that, look at the other things in your life, but talk to your Kabbalah teacher about that thing. Because there is something you can do to not remain with the negative impact of those traumatic issues. That's a different side for now. Okay, so then we came out of the endless world to be many creators in this world, just to imitate the infinite creator. So in the simplest terms, the infinite creator created infinite heaven. What is our purpose here? By imitating the Creator, is to create heaven on earth. In the upper worlds, there's no such thing as an earth, right? No physical earth. So we brought down into this world the physical earth in order to imitate the Creator, make heaven on earth. Simple. So part of that is we have to understand, like we were saying, words, thought, and action change or create or remold everything in this world. So, as we've often talked about, we have that, now it's one of my favorite sayings, we have the original artificial intelligent program, better than all the ones that are out there. We programmed it in our head, spiritually, metaphysically on the left side, because that's our desire to receive. But we put that opponent there so that we would have free choice. If we came down here just with the light of the Creator, just with the only thought, oh, shine my light 24/7, I'll live infinite bliss, it's like a game with no opposition. It's nice for 5 minutes, but at the end of the game, do you really feel you succeeded? You feel victorious? If you don't beat an opponent in ping pong or in any other game, you don't feel victorious, right? If ping pong was 1 point and you're the only player and you hit the ball over the net, now I won, I'm victorious. You don't feel victorious because you had no challenge. So we put that programming inside of us, but the same way in any game on earth, there is a way to defeat the opponent, and the objective is defeating the opponent. So it's not the opponent is impossible to beat, not spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. Every opponent, there is a way to defeat it. It's just we have to work hard enough to defeat it. So we put that opponent in our head. So now we have two choices. We have two voices going into our head every moment. The voice of the AI that's there challenging us. You're not powerful enough. You're not good enough. You're not capable. It's impossible. Or you have the voice of your soul said, no, you have a piece of the infinite Creator. You can create anything you want. You want peace on earth, which is your purpose here? Create peace on earth. Start moving in that direction. You can do it. You're capable. It's possible. Perfection already exists. That's the battle. That's why the Kabbalists teach us the war of Armageddon. Whatever tradition you're of, there's a war of Armageddon, the final war before peace on earth. The Kabbalists have been telling us it's been the same war. Armageddon means the war of consciousness, the war between those two voices in our head, the artificial one and the one that's the real us, the one that's our piece of the Creator. That's the only war there is since Adam and Eve had to fight the snake. The snake was just a way to call that artificial intelligence of an opponent. Adam and Eve weren't opponents of each other. The opponent was the snake, and it's been the same since then onward. But unfortunately, we programmed that artificial intelligent program to make us believe, no, the other person is our enemy, our opponent. So we've been creating the world of chaos for thousands of years now. Yes, chaos doesn't mean it's all bad all the time. Please understand that. Chaos doesn't mean all bad all the time. That wouldn't be chaos, would it? That'd be a sure thing, just in a negative way, but a sure thing. If everything is bad or everything's good, no chaos. The chaos is when it looks good, then it's bad. It's happy, then it's sad. It's healthy, then it's sick. It's loving, and then it's hating. That's chaos. So chaos doesn't mean you don't see those moments of peace. I always like to go back to Jaws, the shark. The shark, you see the fin above the water? Uh-oh, the shark's attacking. Then it goes under the water. You don't see the fin anymore, but do you really think there's no more sharks? No, it's just hiding for a while. It's going to wait, swim around, then it's going to come up again, just like our own negativity. Because we came here collectively with the thought, let all of our light shine. So anytime in any way that we create individually and therefore in a collective way, pain, suffering, and death and chaos in the world, we're constantly being challenged by our own soul to remove the blockages, to remove the negativity that's causing our chaos. So yeah, it goes up and down. That's why people are still doing reactive behaviors, anger, jealousy, greed, insecurity, whatever it may be, because instant gratification. And then it goes away. And then you have to get instant gratification again. The opponent, that AI program, has been treating us like addicts. addicted to the physical material world as the source of fulfillment. We're addicted to it. No, money will make you happy. If you have that person in your relationship, it's going to be oh so amazing. If you drive that car, live in that place, have this job, go this place, this social network, whatever it is, suddenly the physical material is the world of fulfillment. But show me where. Where has it ever been for any lasting length of time been really fulfilling? I mean, some of you, and some of you may know, people who have all the material things, and they're miserable people. They're doing all the miserable things. If nothing else, they just don't have peace of mind. Something always weighing heavy on their mind. But you say, what, they got all the physical stuff that's supposed to be the source of their fulfillment. No, only the light is our source of fulfillment. Only the light. And therefore, it's up to us to put things back in order. But remember, even like we say, Kabbalah 1, Class 1, we talk about everything is already perfect. Perfection already exists. So if you think about it, jigsaw puzzle, easiest thing for me. On the box is the picture that you're supposed to build with all the pieces of the puzzle, right? If you didn't see that there was, like if the picture on the box was not the same as all the pieces in the box, you would have almost an impossible time to put the pieces together because you have nothing to start with. You have no pattern to build on. So think about, we came out of the endless world. Where did we start? Even in the simple biblical story. Garden of Eden. Tell me, were there hurricanes, floods, and fires and that kind of stuff in the Garden of Eden? No, because it was Garden of Eden, paradise, tropical paradise, whatever way you want to look at it. But that was to give us the picture on the box. Then we left there having given into the belief that something in the physical material world is going to make us happy, not just the light of God. And we created a mess. It's like you open the box and you spill all the pieces out. Now our job is for thousands of years, just put the pieces back together. But along the way, every time you start to put pieces together, that AI programming go, oh no, I don't think that fits. I don't think that's the way it goes, right? They're stopping you. Look, that person, this thing or whatever, stopping you from putting all the pieces together and having it the right way. So then what do? If you ever did a jigsaw puzzle, and I remember doing it, right? You get a little frustrated, you just start putting two pieces that kind of look alike, and you force them together. Even though you see that little space, they don't fit, but you're going to force them all together because that's it. You're frustrated, and you've got to finish this now. And you expand that out. That's what we do every day. Instead of letting the light of the Creator channel through us, we're going to force things with our creative power, sadly, but try and put wrong pieces together. You ever been in a bad job, bad relationship, bad friendship, or what have you, bad investment? Why? Because we're trying to force the wrong pieces together. In some way or another, we didn't ask first, pause. Let me really ask, true surrender, the voice of my soul, what's the right thing to do? We didn't ask. We went with our logic, we went with our experience, we went with all the physical 1% stuff. And so the Kabbalists are teaching us, like we have two natures, divine and human. So along with natural disasters, one of my most unfavorite phrases, another one along the way, and don't ask me to rate them, because I'm a Libra, so we'll put them all on the same disastrous level. Oh, I'm only human. What do you expect from me? I'm only human. So the human side, when I hear that, this human side in me wakes up, and I want to just kick the person where it hurts. What do you mean, you idiot? You also have a divine nature. What do you call the Creator inside you? Is it human? No, it's divinity, perfection, the power of creation itself. So in that same way, we have those two, body and soul, in the simplest terms. Our body is our human part, because the body is give me, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. The soul says, no, let me out. Let me share my light. Let the light go out so you'll have infinite bliss. You'll have your piece of heaven on earth. You'll have happiness, joy, the right decisions, protection, peace, love, all the great things. So as we have those two natures, so too, if you think about it, the Kabbalist asks, why in the story of creation. And if you are new to the center, understand that we do. The Kabbalists do believe Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all the biblical things occurred. It is a recording of real events, but it's only the tip of the iceberg, and it's encoded with the spiritual laws of the universe, which is what the Zohar and the Kabbalah Center is about. Give us the ways to understand it. So you go back to the story of creation. How come, if humanity is the highest creation, how come we weren't created first? So I hear some of you, save the best for last, which is true, but not in my ego way. What does it mean? You had the heavens, the earth, plants, animals, all that stuff were created first, and then humanity. The Kabbalists teach us what was the purpose, and even as it says later on, we're supposed to have control, right? People were put in this world to have dominion over the earth. The sad part, dominion has meant, with the help of that AI programming, manipulative, self-centered, selfish control. Make people do what you want. Make situations the way you want them to happen. Not what's best for your soul, what you want with your 5 cents perspective. That's the difference. That's the difference. But we're supposed to have control over it. That's why it says, the Kabbalists say, all those things have a representation within us. In other words, you ever heard somebody say, this person's acting like an animal? Okay. Acting on a lower level. This person is dead as a doornail. I mean, really? Is a doornail really dead? You know, but you understand those, or this person's a vegetable. We've heard those things, how people have been related to inanimate, plant, and animal. But divinity is our true nature. That's what we're here to express. And therefore, when they teach us that we have control over the physical world, like we're saying today, our power to create then determines nature, because nature also has those two sides, stupid or smart. So here, let me give you some examples. So we think nature, water flows, fire burns, the sun has its cycle, right? The sun, the moon, like that, and lions attack. So then what do you do with this? Water flows, but at the Red Sea, water split. And without giving you all the details, it didn't just split in half where they say, well, it was low tide, the wind came. It split into 13 pathways. The water piled up as walls of ice. It was dry ground that the spiritual people walked on. Now, if it's low tide, it's not dry ground. It's still mud. It was dry ground. Even if you read the Hebrew of the biblical recounting, it says it was dry ground. So water split. That's not its nature as we think of it. Fire burns. Story of Abraham. He was thrown by Nimrod into the flaming fire. Didn't burn him. It's like the fire stayed all around him, and he was there in the middle, I don't know, maybe sunning himself. Who knows? He wasn't in Florida. You know, he didn't have our advantage. He's like that, but it didn't burn him. The sun, moon. The story of Joshua. Stop the sun for the reasons to reveal light, to defeat the enemy, not the physical enemy, the enemy of selfishness in whatever form there was. Stop the sun. And I've even understood, and you can check it yourself through today's AI, and you'll let me know, message me. But they say even astronomically, you know, they have ways to calculate this and this. There is an anomaly somewhere about the time of Joshua that it looks like it could have been like the sun was out for 48 hours. So they're proving things like that. And then lions attacking, right? If it's the nature of a lion to attack, what about Daniel? Or even you see today, you see lion tamers, right? Who have a way of changing the nature of animals. So now, here's the key. What determines whether the nature, even just around you and me individually, no less collectively? Because it's the same thing. The collective is just a group of people and all their collected consciousness, creative actions coming together. And then whichever way it weighs out, that's what shows up. I mean, like every now and then we have one of these things, you put, a big blank canvas on the wall, and everybody during our event will go and paint something. Okay, so everyone might paint nice things, but in a certain way, you get the idea. It's not going to be like the harmonious, Picasso or Rembrandt or, that sort of thing. You follow? But it's going to be little pieces of things. Okay, so nature is determined by us. When we act in a smart way, nature will be smart, meaning the hurricane will stop. Even, and maybe this is a little far out let's use Abraham. Fire won't burn. A person can be thrown into fire and not burn. Even today, as I'm thinking about it, there are people who call themselves fire walkers, no? They'll walk on hot coals, things like that, etc., and they won't be burned. So even today, we see pieces of evidence, validation to this concept, that people have the ability to override what we used to think as nature, which today we'll understand it as stupid nature. Meaning the water just flows. So if somebody's fallen in and can't swim, water just flows. And unfortunately, unless someone comes to get them out or whatever, they'll drown. That's stupid nature. If we train nature, it will be smart. So a person falls in a body of water that can't swim, like the Red Sea. The water will part, or the water will push them to the side, right? Or up to the edge of the pool, however you want to look at it, so they'll be able to not drown. I know some of you go, oh my God, this sounds like science fiction. But you tell me, if you took your cell phone back to your great-great-grandparents and tried to tell them what it did, they'd probably burn you as a witch or a warlock. But they would certainly also go, no way, science fiction. But today, it's a fact. And we take it for granted on top of it. Some of us remember, and some of you remember, when there were no cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In my life.
Right? But now we take it for granted. In fact, we take it so for granted, and I have to admit, I'm also guilty. I don't know all my kids' phone numbers by heart. I know the phone knows them, right? But I don't know them. When I was in elementary school, you had to memorize all your friends' phone numbers, right? Because there was no place, unless you wrote it on a piece of paper at home. But you understand that idea? Today, no, we've been given in so much. And I'm not saying we shouldn't use a cell phone. Here, we're using a computer to be all over the world on Spiritual Sunday. The good use of it, the smart use of it, let's say. But also there's people who use it in stupid ways. But is it the computer that does the stupid thing? No, but the computer is controlled by the person who wants to cheat, lie, and steal to other people on the internet. Again, it's like the physical world is a tool. We decide how it's being used, individually and collectively. So then, nature has smart nature and a stupid nature. And we're the ones who decide how it's going to act. So in the same way that, in simple terms, every human being looks like a human being. So even you and me, you look in the mirror, you see the same person when you look in the mirror, yes? But sometimes you look at you and say, oh my God, that was a stupid thing. How could you be so stupid? And other times you look in the mirror and go, wow, so amazing. You did that amazing thing, overcame your negativity, blah, 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 shared with that person, whatever it is. Physically, we look the same. But we can be reactive or proactive. We still look the same. You follow? It's our actions and what we're creating that's different. So in the same way, water flows. But it can flow in a stupid way. Water, like splitting of the Red Sea, also water. Right? It didn't change that nature. It's still H2O, but it changed the way it behaved. So if you're understanding that, nature will behave according to humanity. So the Rav used to say, when they first came out with this concept, airborne disease, right? Like suddenly nature was doing all that bad stuff, right? Before airborne disease, was there no air, atmosphere around Earth? Is that a tough question? Right? There was an atmosphere. So what made the atmosphere carry disease from one place to another? Not that it wasn't happening before, but suddenly we became smart in a stupid way, airborne disease. So now we're looking, how are we going to change the air? How are we going to stop the outside? No, the Rav and Karen made it very simple. We're in charge. The Zohar says nature behaves the way we behave. So when people speak badly, bad-mouthing people, lies, or even just true gossip, but to put people down with the truth. Joe Smith, a thief. You should all know he's a thief. Don't ever hire him for another job. Basically, you just killed Joe Smith, who's going to give him a job if everybody understands he's a thief. And he may have been a thief at some point. Let me ask you, did none of you ever take something out of a store without paying?
Yes.
But I'm talking when you're a kid.
Yeah, when I was
Okay, good. Yeah, not just last week. But you understand? Okay, we all did something like that, and then you went back, if somebody caught you, you had to go back and apologize. So if they said that, imagine, you were 8 years old, you stole a candy bar. But heaven forbid, all the rest of that person's life, people go, oh, Joe Smith, the thief. Mary Williams, thief. It's a true statement. But I said it may no longer be true about them, but people still, that's what they hear. That's airborne disease. We're creating by the words we use, because the words we use, using our air and using the power of our soul, which is creativity. Global warming. Just 2 quick examples. You do this. What's happening between your hands now? Friction. Yes? You're making friction, and what does friction create? Heat, warmth. In fact, that's how you warm yourself up in a cold environment if you don't have gloves. Right? So if you think about it, especially today, you want to know why global warming is global warming? Not because of the gases and this, that, and the other thing, because people are in more conflict with each other than ever. That's global warming. You have all around the world. No wonder it's global. It doesn't just say warming in Boca, right? So just the people in Boca, it's global warming, because all over the world, people are disagreeably disagreeing, and even worse, violence and hatred and spewing out all that terrible stuff. Okay, so it's airborne disease and global warming all at the same time, and probably with a few other things out there. In fact, this next Sunday is the new moon of Cancer. Cancer. The Rav used to ask Abraham the patriarch, in the book of formation, gave names to all 12 signs of the zodiac. So the Rav used to say, when we come to this month of Cancer, he said, Abraham, why call it cancer? Call it candy. Make it something nice. Why cancer? Horrible, degenerative disease, this, that, and the other thing. Why? And I'm putting this out for you. Those of you who come down physically, we won't have Spiritual Sunday here, but we will have the new moon of Cancer. So why they call it cancer? Because the Kabbalists teach us that if a person is headed, has created that kind of environment that is causing cancer, the first cell of cancer turns cancerous in the month of Cancer. But you ask any medical person on earth, nobody can tell you from a scientific point of view when the first cell goes from normal to wild, cancerous. They can only see it after months or years when it's a blob. But that first cell, so if on the new moon of Cancer, if a person has that kind of thing about to start, they can actually transform it. Like we're speaking today. Divine nature gives you divine results. Human nature will give you human results. So if a person just stays human, got to be better than that one, got to overcome this one, that's all a cancer cell is. When I was in college, pre-med, all they told us a cancer was just a normal cell that doesn't stop growing when it touches the other cells, right? Like when the wound heals, okay, it heals and it stops replicating when it heals the wound and the 2 sides are touching, let's say. But a cancer cell just keeps going to overdo and overrun all the other cells. Just goes wild. So it goes wild in the month of Cancer. What's human reactivity? Wild behavior. It's the opposite of light-like behavior. It's the opposite of divine behavior. So of course, and that's why there's a cancer in a business, cancer in a relationship. It doesn't have to just be the physical disease. You never saw anybody's relationship like deteriorate in a bad way? That's cancer, is it not? Somebody's business deteriorate in a bad way? Cancerous. Look at what's going on in the world. You could say in a similar thing. It's cancerous. It's cancerous. And everybody trying to overcome and eat up the other person. That's it. Wake up. We have the power to change it all. That's the beauty. All we have to do is stop. That, for me, the most important and ultimately the only way that you and I can change what's going on in the world is when we're feeling ourselves triggered and pause. That's how we call it now. Something triggers you, something pushes your button, pause. Put it in neutral. And then you have conscious, at least the ability to be truly conscious and decide, what do you want to come back to you? You want to scream and yell just because they're screaming and yelling? Well, then you're going to get back screaming and yelling in a week, in a month, in 2 years. It's got to come back. They'll get theirs come back to them. You'll get yours come back to you. Because yes, in a collective way, so if you think about two people reacting, they're putting out into the cosmos, which will spread through the one soul internet to 8.5 billion people, a little bit of anger or impatience or whatever it is. But each one will get their own personal result back. So when you have 8.5 billion people screaming at each other, yeah, there's a collective group energy that's just spewing out into the spiritual internet. But there's also, like attracts like, cause and effect to each person. What each of us put out creatively is going to come back to us. So you want peace, harmony, joy, love, protection, all of that, put it out there. And the beauty is, because some people are thinking, oh, so Chaim's telling us, if a person's trying to be controlling and manipulative, just lay down and let them walk all over you. No, think simple. It's almost 40 years now. I've heard it so many times. And honestly, it's only really, truly created a deep, eternal awakening these last maybe 7, 8 years of my life. Light is the only thing that takes away darkness. And if you're in a sphere of light, nobody can bring darkness into that sphere of light. Not physically, not spiritually. So if they push your buttons and you pause and you're emanating light, yes, the light, your soul will guide you things to say or do. But whatever you're doing is shining light, which protects you from anyone else coming at you with darkness. That's the key. Light is our only protection. You can have bars and walls and bodyguards. Tell me on earth, nobody with 1,000 bodyguards ever got assassinated, et cetera, any way you want to look at it. People with a lot of money never lost all their money. How many times do you hear these people, whatever their thing, athletes, this, that, .com, hundreds of millions of dollars, and 3-4 years later, they're broke. How can it be, we say? Well, the human nature got in there. Human nature got in there. And somehow they just started short-circuiting all the way, whatever form. So light is our only protection. So the more we act in the line of divinity, the more we train nature in that way. Just like you train animals, we said, a lion tamer. I mean, I don't know. I'm not at that level yet to trust myself walking into the lion's den, right? Not because it can't happen. I'm just not there yet. Okay, but you have people, even who, maybe not be spiritual so much, but they love animals and they have a way of dealing with animals because animals sense energy. Don't we all say that? Dogs will bite the person who's scared of the dog. Why? Because they trained it. So you and I are training nature. So you want miracles, what we call miracles, smart nature, you have to start now training nature. So every time that you're reactive, you're training nature to be reactive to you. Every time you're being proactive, you're training nature. When you need it, the water to split and not drown, right? Fire not to burn. Even if it's not a person, what about things? We've had that happen. There was one guy had a whole set of Zohar on a shelf in his apartment. The whole apartment went on fire. The Zohar, you could see almost like the aura, right? And not all of his apartment burned down, but you could see the aura around the Zohar. Nothing happened to it. And then we had people, one of the last hurricanes in Florida, even that, you understand, these pocket Zohars. Zohar has protected Florida from hurricanes really getting in destructive nature, like it's now 19 years. No major hurricane hitting Florida because the centers in Miami and Boca have spread Zohar all over Florida enough to stop the hurricanes. Even they do unnatural things. They go in and they turn 90 degrees, unnatural. They've attacked Florida, 180 degrees, not natural. That's smart nature. But we've trained it for years and years and years by spreading the Zohar and teaching people Kabbalah. So you can't just say, okay, today I'm going to train nature and I'll never do anything bad. No, like anything else. You can't become a lawyer or a doctor or some kind of professional like that in one day. It's training, practice, learning, doing. So we have the ability of doing every day. And that's our job, train nature, train nature. If you think about it, even in simple terms, and remember, every human being is a pure and perfect being of light, has the Creator inside them, but there are people on different levels. Like we said, some people are only 20% of their potential, some people at maybe 80, 90% of the potential. So those on, let's say, on the 60% level, if they're now acting more proactively, they are helping to train people who are on the 20, 30, 40, 50 level to also be more spiritual. You follow? You're also bringing people up. Or heaven forbid, people who are behaving in a negative way are also influencing people on a lower level to be even worse, unless they now take conscious control over their life. Think about it the same way. Don't we tell people? You tell your kids, or maybe you heard it growing up. We basically train people how to treat us. Right? If a person walks around like they're a nothing, people will treat them like they're a nothing. Not necessarily because that person really had a conscious thought, let me help this Mary Williams because she thinks she's a nothing, so we'll wake up Mary Williams. No, it's just trained to teach them. You know, person who's a control freak is training people around them also to be control freak, to have a battle about it. Right? We're training people in all ways, and now we're understanding on a bigger picture, we're training nature. So you want to stop all the fires, floods, etc. like that? Train your nature. Turn your human behavior into divine behavior. Reactive to proactive. Pause. The only way, if a person doesn't pause, there's no way to shift gears. Even your car, you can't just be driving down the freeway in drive and suddenly slam it into reverse. No, you first got to go into neutral, right? And then into reverse. So at least even if it's happening accidentally, you're not damaging the car. It goes into neutral. Then you realize it's in neutral and it's not going. You put it back in drive, right? In the old, or I guess they still have them, stick shift. You got to put it in neutral before you change gears. Otherwise, you destroy the car. So how about life? If you don't pause that neutral for a moment to have consciousness, conscious awareness, conscious thought, then it's just divine, human nature creating more destruction and inviting the physical world to cause more destruction. It's not so complicated. It's difficult because we've allowed ourselves to be trained into human nature. That's all. So the difficulty is rising out of human nature into divine nature. But divine nature is not difficult. Can you all say, okay, I always like this part. Can you all just say out loud, and those of you yell loud enough, maybe we'll hear you through the internet. Can you say the words, I love you? I love you. Yes, thank you so much. I love you too. No, okay. That's the part I like about this. But if you think about now, close your eyes for a moment. Think of the person that as of yesterday, you despised, resented, hated, whatever, and now try and say, I love you. Not so easy, is it? Okay, open your eyes, but you get the idea? You could say the words. That's the simple, easy part. The hard part is the perspective. Oh, the person I hate? No way. He doesn't know what they said, did, how they acted, blah, blah, blah. You understand? That's the only difference. It's the consciousness. Saying the words, being proactive, being kinder, nicer, more generous, humble, caring, forgiving, compassionate. That's not hard. It's just our AI trained perception that it's that person, that situation. So we can't do it to them. No, you understand? It's easy. So as of today, you want to accomplish what we came here to do? Just keep acting. More smart, shine more light, put it out there. What's the Messiah really mean? You know, it says when the Messiah comes, the lion will lie down with the lamb, that sort of thing. What's the stupid nature? The lion eat up the lamb. But you understand the idea? Or it says, I think it's in Jeremiah, I forget the prophet, that the earth will be full of the knowledge of the Creator, of the light. But the Kabbalists point out, it doesn't say the world's people, humanity will be filled. It says the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the light. Now you understand what that means. That humanity, to have the Messiah, the end of pain, suffering, and death, there has to be a collective mass of people who've been training nature to be full of the light of the Creator, so it will act, as we called it today, the smart way. That's what it means. So you want the Messiah, it's here waiting, but it's waiting on us. Don't wait for somebody to come and be the Messiah to you. The Creator gave each of us the power of itself to be a creator. So I can create my own Messiah energy if I'm constantly acting in divinity, shining my light unconditionally. That's the Messiah, because then I'll never have stress. All the blessings will come to me. And even when the challenges I have to finish off, so to speak, come, I say, oh, great. Here, let me examine it. Okay, here's the light I have to put it in. Like how to rearrange it back into harmony and order. That's the Messiah. When there's no more influence individually or collectively of that negative AI program. That's what it is. You take it out. No more angel of death, no more selfishness, no more ego, no more evil inclination, no more whatever name you want to call it. When there's none of that, then in essence, we'll all see, oh, I screamed at that person 20 years ago. Let me go find them and apologize. We'll just go to pay back our spiritual debt because there'll be no more influence of doing anything negative. We've trained the earth, we've trained ourselves, we've trained the people around us all to act divine in our true nature. And in that way, as we'll all band together, may we have the merit that we'll start being more of our divinity, act in our divinity and train nature to be smart and merciful. And then humanity will have peace, we'll have harmony, we'll have love, we'll be unified, and we'll finish our job, heaven on earth, and we'll all live in it for eternity. God bless. Thank you. Anyway, you can go. So let's just, for those of you here, money is a vessel. So we just want to take a moment before we do our meditation. And those of you online, we have a meditation with the 72 names. So, yes, thank you. So money is a vessel. We want to inject it. Again, train money to do sharing things, creative things, constructive things, bringing peace on earth through the spread of the Zohar, spread of this wisdom to the heart and soul of every person on earth. And so we want to inject this offering, this gift, with our light, our love, gratitude, appreciation, opening our hearts to truly, in yet a higher way, evolving to our next level of true certainty, visceral experience of being one unified soul with all humanity. And the more we feel that, therefore, the more pain we will feel that there are people in the world still caught up in their chaos, negativity, disconnect from the light, and all the resultant chaos and pain that comes from that. And so feeling that pain as if it's our own, we send this gift through the center to spread enough Zohar to take away all the darkness, that every human being will awaken to see in their mirror the pure and perfect being of light, and therefore behave greater and greater love, kindness, and compassion, every day a higher level of expressing their divine nature. And we know as we make that happen with our gifts, with our sharing, with our offerings, we know the circuit will come back to us many, many times over, blessing us many, many times over in all ways, shape, or form. And together we say, Amen. Okay, for those of you here, we have one of the 72 names. For those of you online, this is a combination of 3 nanoparticles of the light, or Karen used to call them portals, right, from this world to the upper world. But each of what most people call Hebrew letters are just portals or particles of the light of the Creator. So they shine light. Yud, Zayin, Lamed, in this case, creating inner and outer harmony. Or for those of you here, it says heaven on earth. That's what it is. When there's harmony within, in our body, that's harmonious with our soul. So that every one of our actions is divine, proactive, sharing and revealing light. That's heaven on earth. So we want to now empower that and speed up the process so that we can finish all the pain and suffering and all the divisiveness. So just let the shapes be engraved in your mind's eye. The names Yud, Zayin, Lamed. And we know that the light that shines through them, as we'll bring them into us, will activate the power of our pure and perfect being, all the light within us to bring harmony between our body and our soul, and between all the souls on earth and all the bodies, being pure vessels and vehicles of the soul. Okay, so if I can ask you to sit comfortably in your seat, feet flat on the floor, hands on your lap. Relaxing by taking a few deep breaths, breathing in through the nose, hold the breath for a moment, exhale through the mouth. Creating a circulation, drawing in that fresh air, which is a manifestation of the light of the Creator. Hold the breath for a moment that it flows throughout all of your being. And as you exhale, letting go of all the blockages, whatever negative tendencies, limiting thoughts, letting the light of the Creator through the breath flush out all the limitations and all the blockages. And just allow yourself to relax into the light of the Creator. This infinite light that's all around you, that is pure, unconditional love. The infinite light that's within you, that's pure and perfect light. Also, pure, unconditional love that knows with absolute certainty, the oneness of all humanity. And so we want to take advantage of the one soul internet that every human being is on, to influence them with this energy we're creating now, manifesting and sharing now. So we envision above our heads, Yud Zayin Lamed, and see a beam of light that's extended downward from the upper worlds, the endless world. That beam of light shining down and activating the light in the Yud Zayin Lamed. See it shining with light, glowing bright. Feel the vibration. Heaven on earth, unity among all humanity, a pure harmony and congruence between the soul and the body, that the soul's light and light behaviors controlling the body consciousness, to just be a pure vehicle to express that light to everyone, everywhere, in all situations. And slowly allow the Yud Zayin Lamed to enter through the top of your head, illuminating, awakening more of the light consciousness in the mind, in the brain. It's dissipating, decreasing the voice of that AI opposing program, increasing the volume, the clarity, and the awareness of the voice of your soul. That has the ability, as we follow it, to guide us into heaven on earth, Garden of Eden, absolute perfection and peace and all the blessings. So wherever you may have a question or a conflict, ask now, through the Yud Zayin Lamed, clarity, and surrender to the wisdom that you're taught. Listen to the voice of your soul with happy willingness to act the way your soul is telling you to do, to remove the chaos, remove the confusion, remove the limitations. And allow the Yud Zayin Lamed and this light of heaven on earth, harmony within and without, flow through the rest of your body, the rest of your being, removing whatever blockages may be between your soul and your body for healing, rejuvenation, to allow the soul to guide and control the body. Feeling that energy and that new vibration and vitality filling you from head to toe. Feel, think, see the harmony between your soul and your body as it is meant to be. That your body is doing the bidding of your soul. See yourself in a familiar reactive situation. Put it on pause. Inject this Yud Zayin Lamed into the you in that vision, the one that used to be reactive. See the Yud Zayin Lamed in your heart and soul, giving you the strength, the motivation, the enthusiasm to behave with your divine nature, overwhelming that situation with light, that it can bring you only blessings, awaken the light in the people in that situation around you, bringing them also to an elevated consciousness and awareness of their divinity. And now beaming this light, Yud Zayin Lamed, out through your heart and soul on this spiritual one soul internet to the heart and soul of every human being. To awaken, elevating their own awareness, that everyone is having this uplifting of consciousness, the greater sense, awareness, and desire to express all the light of their soul, to bring peace and harmony to the world, putting all the fragmented pieces back into unity, with love, with kindness, compassion. And with the support of the Yud Zayin Lamed, let all of us in this powerful consciousness and vision see heaven on earth, all people harmoniously interacting with each other, the world population harmoniously interacting, each one doing their capabilities to their highest ability, in unity and oneness with everybody else on the planet. Record that vision in your mind's eye that will always be in front of you. So when you pause, envision this heaven on earth. Listen to the voice of your soul, and then act to manifest another piece of your light, projecting it out into the world, manifesting another aspect, another piece of heaven on earth. That together we are rebuilding the Garden of Eden. Heaven on earth, in our time, in our days. That it comes with mercy. Take note of how you feel, this new vibration, this greater intensity of light, feeling of lightness and greater love for all humanity. And together we'll take one more deep breath, anchoring and solidifying it in our heart and soul and mind. And as you exhale, slowly opening your eyes. Those of you here physically, thank you for joining. It's great to see you all. Those of you online, thank you for being with us. And God bless. Have an amazing day, amazing week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw, click the subscribe button so you'll be notified of future videos as we post them. Would also love to hear your comments and questions, whether it's about this video in particular or about the wisdom of Kabbalah as we teach it in the Kabbalah Center. If you'd like to learn more about various subjects, go to our website, www.kabbalah.com. We have thousands of articles and classes on various subjects within the wisdom of Kabbalah. Share this video with other people. If you were inspired and it can change your life, let's start changing thousands and thousands of people's lives around the world also. If you'd like to contribute in support of Spiritual Sunday and the projects of the Kabbalah Center, that link is also below. I wish you an amazing day, afternoon, evening, wherever you may be out there. And may God bless us all that we awaken the light of the Creator, not only inside us to a higher level, but touching the heart and soul of every human being on earth with the light of the Creator.